So let's start with our Ujjayi breath. And our Ujjayi breath occurring in the region where our swallowing action takes place. The thyroid cartilage, or what people have termed the Adam's apple. Interesting choice. And just at and below the wishbone, the hyoid. And I'm mentioning these landmarks just because we'll be studying them over the several weeks or month. And it's just a way to get everyone oriented gradually. And the other one thing I want to mention about our Ujjayi is it's contractile in nature. So to perform the Ujjayi is a contractive move. Therefore, we have the ability to alter the amount of contraction, openness or closedness of the glottis. And I just want to kind of scoop around. Glottis just means opening, and it's the opening between the vocal folds. So take a moment to just adjust or kind of fine-tune your Ujjayi to match the current state that you're experiencing in your body right now. Now let's place the soles of our feet together in Baddha Konasana. So as we move through some of the shoulder blade and some of these moves that involve the neck, just notice and hear what occurs through your Ujjayi, which is happening right about here. Right in this hyoid to cartilage area. Right there. Okay, inhale. You reach through the arms. And when we exhale the arms into eagle, let's bring the left over the right. And again, allowing the stretch to occur and listening with your breath through the formation of your ujjayi, and listening to how all of this musculature and structure start to, let's say, reorganize, recognize each other, reorganize. There's this in real time dance of recognition. The shoulder blade is physically connected to the hyoid and to the neck muscles and structure in front of our windpipe, the cartilage I just mentioned. So as you're breathing and moving and stretching those shoulder blades, just feel and notice the response in the vocal area where the ujjayi is changing, steadying, opening, closing. If there's strain in our efforts, we'll hear it in our ujjayi. If there's disengagement in our body, our mind, our poses, we'll hear it in our ujjayi. If there's right effort and ease, we'll notice it in our ujjayi. Let's switch sides. Inhale and wind the arms from that eagle. And then exhale, we'll go right over left. Ooh, interesting. Your right elbow might be touching one of the forearm bones. Might be nudging, pressing and massaging, opening or dampening the left elbow. So we cross our arms. We can notice how that left arm is circulating. If it's just being pressed upon, opened, dampened. As the shoulder blades relax or soften, what happens to ujjayi? How does that sound change? Does it? Maybe it's possible to develop more ease in the ujjayi. We'll unwind. Inhale. Open the arms apart from each other. And let's set the right leg out, straightening. And draw the left heel in to bend the left knee. You can draw the heel into the front of the pelvis or back beside the back of the pelvis. We'll be reaching our left hand behind our back in this shoulder opener. So as you're exhaling, you start that spiraling motion through the left arm. With the ribs, the lungs, left side, it's kind of a glide around the heart. Now it's up to you how you work with the head or the neck. Sometimes you have to leave a little bit of support on the neck. Sometimes you have to lift it a bit back. Sometimes you can let it tip. Just whatever it is that you're doing in the neck, how can we know what we're doing with or in the neck? Now, as this shoulder is lifting back and the lung is kind of rotating back, you might choose one deliberate swallowing motion to again just feel that shoulder blade to neck connection. You might feel that acutely to the shoulder blade or to the ear. We'll release the left hand and now inhale, draw your trunk upright. Now before we go to the other side, notice, feel, sense your listening field on the left and the right side of your head. It's kind of like notice, feel the quality of listening through the left ear, the right ear. Can you notice the expansiveness of the listening field, the clarity in the listening field, left side, right side? Okay. Let's switch sides. We'll straighten the left leg. Something that was really entertaining for me to remember is that our voices developed, co-developed with our hearing and our listening. Right? They developed together. We're learning the apparatus of sound making in conjunction with how we're hearing and measuring that effect in our environment, modulating our voice till we get the sound that nets us that right response. So to work with the voice is to work with the ears. Interesting thought. Shoulder opener. So when we start that spiral, that movement through the arm, let that whole right side rib cage rotate back. The lung glide rotates back. So if we just kind of crank from the shoulder joint, then we'll just have a shoulder joint something. So you're using the right hand grasp, thigh or clothing. Just continue rotating the right ribs, the right lung. If I say rotate, there's a presumption there's kind of an axis. It's rotating around or in accord with something else. It implies a relationship. Allowing your head and neck to be positioned just so for your neck, for your jaw, for your ear. Now listen to the sound of your Ujjayi breath. Your listening will help you modulate your Ujjayi. Maybe there's a more ease. Maybe there's more musculature. One more. And open up the right hand. Inhale. Help your way up. Your head up. And once again, just experience your listening field. Sometimes we have a listening field that's maybe an inch away from our ears. We do a lot of listening with devices touching our ear. I wonder how that starts to shape our listening field. We only have to open a certain degree. In fact, we don't even, if we just project something into our ear with enough force, and this is a contraction or an opening in the body. How can I right now, just on choice, expand listening field? Now, if there's a lot of neighborly sounds, you might notice a slight withdrawal if you're trying to not hear that. But can we, on choice, open that receptivity? Okay, so if this is a contracting, opening part of our body, then it's something that becomes part of our asana. Let's set up for downward dog. Now, if you want to have your hands elevated for downward dog, feel free. I'm going to work from the ground. Ooh, 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 ooh. Getting tangled. All right. And the hands make contact. Feel how the bones spiral into the ground and into the core. It's not about making the neck loose, but just being able to decide that's exactly the tension or ease that I want to work with. And exhale, the knees off the ground. I think very soon I'm going to get us a humerus bone so that you can feel the shape of the humerus bone and the contour so that you can feel the rotation and the axis and the spiral of the bone. I'm saying this because you can feel the rotation through the bone of the arm, the humerus, or you can make the bones move with the muscles. So what do you attune to as we say wrapping the shoulders, shortcut words, but what are you attuning to as you kind of unify those arm lines to the ground, to the trunk? All right, we're going to stay in downward dog just a moment longer. I'll raise your left leg. And still with your breath, reach through the left leg, lifting, outreaching. And again, here, feel your Ujjayi breath. If you raise the leg more energy, more effort perhaps, what happens? What do you notice in your ujjayi? It's the voice of your breath. And we'll switch sides. Let the left leg down through reaching, and the right. Elevating, spreading open the right foot, selecting just how much to engage the neck or relax the neck. The neck, the way that we're lifting or pulling or shortening or contracting the neck, again, we can hear a lot of those neck involvements in the ujjayi. Okay, we'll set the right foot down. I had a really wonderful mentor coach who was a track and field coach. And the instruction he would give to new throwers in track and field is strive for beauty. Because if you strive for beauty, the form and the efficiency will come. If you try for, like ugly distance, you'll get some distance, it'll be ugly, you'll have a lot of inefficiencies. But the best throwers just look beautiful. So he just made that the mark. So I'm going to share that with you. Hear the ujjayi sound beautifully. Let's set up dolphin. We'll set the elbows under the shoulders. Sometimes we hear some really interesting ujjayi, effort at all costs. But we want to be listening to that sound. It gives us so much exquisitely in-depth, detailed information about our state, our voice, the voice of our body, the voice of our psyche, the voice of our unconscious, all of it, all at once. What could be cooler? All right, exhale the knees off the ground. Here's dolphin. Zero pain in the shoulder. If you're pushing through pain in the shoulder, even the tiniest amount, just reset. Sometimes the ujjayi, the voice, does quaver a little bit. That doesn't mean you can't listen beautifully to it. Something about beauty and movement, it's just this distillation and this getting down to the absolute barest, most essential something. Spirit of the move, understanding of the posture, coming down to the barest, sweetest, most essential being in our body, in a pose. Could it be that simple? Sure. might not be easy to make it that simple. All right, let's set the knees down. Okay, let's stand in horse stance and play a little bit of belly fun. So for our purposes today, the point of setting the feet apart is that when we deepen in, you have a little bit clearer sense of the pelvic floor. We're kind of pressing and moving the tissues differently around the hips and the pelvic floor. So let me just, if you would allow me just a demo moment. I'm going to go into horse stance two ways. One is just by bending my knees, and the other way is through the pelvic floor. Okay, so here's one way. I just bend my knees. Okay, now here's another way. If I move through the pelvic floor, play with it if you want. But for me, the second way, I kind of through the whole pelvic floor, there's just an instant connection through my legs. It's more like a whole body interconnection. And if I just kind of bend the knees, I feel like a collection of parts. Oh, there's my knee. There's my hip crease. There's my foot. Okay. There's my whole leg, pelvis, abdomen, core, head. So I'm using my hand not to just like collapse down, but to now subtly stretch. Inhale. Now noticing what happens in the pelvic diaphragm and your vocal diaphragm. Now let's exhale everything out. Stay empty. We'll just do a sly little tuck down of the chin. And now drawing from the perineum, that's that pelvic floor musculature, lifting, wondering, gathering, following, feeling, softening, expanding, release. Breathe, please. Now, if you do kind of come up for a little rest, like sometimes we straighten our legs to get a little leg relief, that's fine. But when you deepen back in, just now you know if there's a difference between just bending at the knee or deepening in through the pelvic floor and the whole of the legs. Let's do another round. Uddiyana. So when you are ready, exhale everything out. Remain empty. Slight downshift or in tuck of the chin, just a teeny tiny. And you're lifting and moving from the pelvic floor. Lifting through the space of the pelvis. All those organs in the pelvis bowl. Lifting, feeling, wondering. Hey, what is the lift, the movement putting me into contact with? Horse rest, and let's do one more. Third one, last one. Your pace. So when you're ready, here we go. There it is. Yes, yes, yes. This looks very sweetly supported in the legs, pelvis, torso. Just giving ourselves many moments to feel the unity, the wholeness of the body. Now, some of the ways that we can, quote unquote, get to feeling the wholeness of the body, besides the, practice, 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 is letting ourselves listen, hear, process all of the voice, all of the sensations, and just letting that help distill to the sweetest, barest, intelligent urges to move. Let's heel toe our feet together. And when we stand at the top of our mat, we're going to go through just a couple poses, just woven into a sun. Okay, and we do this Tadasana to start to feel inwardly, centrally. This is one of these main axes where the barest, sweetest, most essential urges to come to life seems to spring from. Here's the spring waters. Go inwardly, find centrally, and then go deep. The feel from the pelvic floor, the soles of the feet, through the space of the pelvis where we had just done those Uddiyanas, through the lung globes, which we rotated and turned, through the vocal diaphragm, which we explored at the very beginning, through the head space and the crown. This is it. This is what the yogis say is this primary organizing axis. Inhale. Use the arms. Reach overhead. Exhale, fold. I'm going to keep those feet active. I like that feeling. Softening the neck, the spine, the core. Bend the knees. Inhale. Let's step the left foot. Reach. Reach straight back with the leg. Don't just throw it back. Reach back. Place. Set the knee down. Draw the arms up. Set hands down. Exhale. Step the right foot back. I said step, but also reach the right foot back. Lower the chest to the ground. The tops of the feet on the ground, reach them back. And with the hands, inhale. Like lengthening with your organs, your heart, even your face to a tiny degree. To the horizon, front and back. Exhale. Lowering, hands under chest. Downward dog. You can go through the muscles. You can go through the bone. You can move through the tissues. Where you take your seat, where you take your seed of movement is up to you. All right, lunge, inhale. Step the left foot between the hands. Reach with the right, step with the left. Set the right knee down. Listen to the breath. It'll tell you if you're rushing or forcing. It'll tell you everything. Exhale the right foot forward. And these aren't judgmental words. These are just characterological, like some days the weather is windy. Some days the air is hot and heavy. These aren't judgments, they're just kind of the texture, the tone, okay, inhale, reaching the arms up. Exhale, fold. I'm going to go with active feet because I like the feeling of my feet down there. Right here. All right, right foot. Bend the knees, inhale, reach with the right foot back. Don't just throw it back, reach it, set the knee down. Raise the arms, open the heels of the palms. Set the hands down under the shoulders. Exhale. Step the left foot back by reaching it back. Exhaling to lower. Cobra. Inhale, the legs reach back, the heart lifts, reaches forward to the horizon. And lowering, hands under chest. Exhale, downward dog. Lunge. Inhale, right foot forward. Lift the knee to the chest. Press, reach to the ball of the left foot. Let the left knee down, draw the arms up. Hands under shoulders. Exhale, step the left foot forward. Listening to the Ujjayi every moment. Inhale, standing. Listen, listen. Exhale, hands to heart. And there might be little moments in that sun salutation where it's almost like the voice just disengages or drops out or just forgets. Listen for that. Okay, here we go. One more time. Inhale, the arms up, listen. The ears and the voice very close together. Exhale, fold forward. Now, with the lunge, inhale, reach the left leg back. So I'm going to bend knees, reach back, and keep the knee and the heel up. Now I'm pitching my left foot just slightly in. It's the shape of my foot, and the pitch allows me to broaden my pressure, my contact, across more of the ball mounds of my feet. Now you could do it another way, but this also kind of pitches or lets me explore the rotation of that left leg through the bone if I want, through the muscles if I want. Okay. There's something really interesting about remembering through a process of development that started from our barest, most essential, least dressed up, intelligent movement. There's something to that. Easy, twisting lunge. So I'm going to leave that left heel and that left knee up. Inhale, bring the left hand down. If you want to block, use one. And exhaling. Start with the right elbow. As you lift the right elbow to the sky, let the right lung kind of glide around. Now you can decide how to open up the elbow, the hand, how to reach through that and whole arm limb. The way that we kind of lay our mind through the tracks of our body can be bringing us closer and closer and closer to that fine distillation of intelligent urgency to move and be alive. It can also be robes and dressing and garments and flourish. Inhale, let's bring the right hand down and softly the left knee down. We're moving into twisting lunge interlock. Now, I did say the word interlock. You don't have to go there. I just want to say it. So exhaling, when you're ready to exhale, letting the rotation, the spiral of the bone, take me into that twist. I can let the rotation and the spiral of the bone open up the right side. So something I notice is when my movement can originate from some of that barest, most undressed, most distilled sense of self, there's a great deal of ease in the entire rest of my body. And I wonder what you notice as you move into the pose, as you're breathing and listening in your pose. And then releasing. Oh, sweet. Inhale. Allow the lungs to just kind of rotate, unrotate, whatever we call this. And now exhale. Step the left foot forward. Step the left foot next to the right foot. Stand up. Take the right foot into the left hand. The outer edge of the right foot taken up with the left hand. Okay. Now I can just yank and pull on the structure of my shoulder. Blah. We can do what we want. Or I can remember this process of how I came into being. Maybe those feel differently. Releasing. Inhale. We'll set the right foot down. I kind of hop dropped out of there. Exhale. Chaturanga. We'll set the hands down. The reach of the right leg back to lower. Inhale. Cobra. Upward dog is an option. It really depends on your exhale, downward dog. Inhale the left foot forward lunge. We'll go knee up, heel up. There's just a few moves. We're keeping things really simple today, but trying to just distill and peaceably listen deeply, deeply today. So with the lunge, if you want to pitch your foot in so there's more ball mound contact, that could be interesting. If you always move the muscles to organize the shoulders, how does one? How do we discover a core, a most essential organizing principle and move from that? Easy twisting lunge. So let's bring the right hand down to the ground, inhaling. I'll recommend, just for today, as you're exhaling, lift up with the left elbow. So I'm kind of spiraling I'm not moving, but I'm just remembering that spiral of the right humerus. So I'm lifting that left elbow, and you can open up that left arm as high as you want. Letting the left lung kind of rotate around the heart. Imagine for a moment that the lungs can move independently to a degree. that it's not a block of lung chest. Imagine there's two halves to that sweet rib cage. And they each can move, each lung can move, and each side of the rib cage can move. Now, how does breath feel? If there's two halves, there's something in the middle. And even if there isn't, to go inwardly and centrally will be beneficial. Okay, inhale, let's bring the left hand down and the right knee down. Twisting lunge. Interlock. Right. I'll follow your lead. There you go. Now the hands don't have to touch. Because just because I touch my fingers doesn't mean I'm radically in whole contact with my body. If that were true, I'd be just clapping my hands all day. Just touch my fingertips all day long. How do I move the shoulder, lung, arm, limb to help expose to me? It's rotating, this moving around, some great organizing, intelligent something. Now we say the word core, but what that is to you is an experience unique to you. Let's release the hands, inhale. Let the lungs kind of unrotate, and we'll step the right foot forward. Now here's that standing alternate twist. Again, if I just kind of poke my stakes and pull the tent open, maybe that's a great way to do the pose. Also, how do I remember the way that my arm limb came into being? The outreach of the arms. It's intelligent, kind of middle to periphery growth, the recognition of space, relating, feeling its relationship to everything that came prior. So fascinating. We're coming into being again in this pose. Reborn. Reborn. It's a view. It's not a, right? It's not a how do I get there, it's how do I come into being. Because sometimes we do in order to be. How do I come into being? How did I? Release. Inhale, setting feet down. Hands under shoulders. Exhale, chaturanga. This will be our last little bit here. Inhale, upward dog. And yes, you could do cobra. And do cobra. And exhale, lower, hands under chest. Downward dog. And softly set the knees down. Have a seat. All right. The clock is a mysterious thing. Let's just observe it though and settle in for a moment of Shavasana. You might still be working from and using that Ujjayi breath. Let's together ensure that the contraction that we began creating some moments ago can now relax. We want to remember that this is a contraction that we have the ability to make it lighter or stronger. And by exercising this choice, we can loosen habits that we might create around our vocal folds, our neck, vocal diaphragm. So making sure the sound of Ujjayi is dissolved. Feel the neck soften. If you're not sure where in the neck this is happening, use that simple swallowing motion to help draw you to the area generally. If our voice is entrapped by parameters of habit, how do we gain more choice and listening? Keep releasing and releasing all around the cartilage of the neck. A lot of blended material here. It's ligaments, it's cartilage, it's muscle, it's gland, it's blood, it's tubes, it's fluid, it's nerve, it's bone. Everything on the continuum of those. When you're ready, bend knees, and you can decide if you bend your knee or raise your foot or lift your hip. Turn to a side. Use hands, both. Press. Namaste.